Africa is an ancient continent that could hold the keys to unlocking the secrets and mysteries surrounding our very ancient past. To some researchers, this is the birthplace of humanity itself, while others can't help but marvel at the works in Egypt and use it as proof that this is the oldest civilization on Earth. But did you know that the Bible, one of the oldest books in the world, makes various references to Africans and may even provide us with an origin for these people? But just what information could these sacred writings provide us with? What role did the Africans play in the founding of Abrahamic religions, and how could this information begin to rewrite history? Join us on this journey as we travel back to one of the most unique and misunderstood parts of our shared history. To a time when prophets walked among men, and the Spirit of God seemed closer than ever. This is one video you won't want to miss. The history of Africa. Africans are one of the largest ethnic groups in the world, and their home continent is full of history that stretches back to a time before the dawn of modern civilization. It's been estimated that Homo sapiens have thrived in Africa for over 200,000 years. While it can be somewhat daunting to think of such a remote part of our part, as we begin to consider the possibility that our ancestors have roamed this enormous continent for eons, it can open our eyes to unforeseen aspects of humanity's collective origins. But do we have any sources that could enlighten us into the actual history of Africa? Well, there is one ancient book that has played a considerable role in our understanding of the ancient world, and it could also help us get to the bottom of the mysterious and long history of the African continent. According to the Bible, all peoples of the earth are descendants of a man known as Noah. Legend states that just before a great flood, he was instructed by God to build an ark and save what he could of the world, including animals and his own family. Noah had 3 sons who would later be tasked with the job of repopulating the world following this enormous cataclysm. Following the events of the deluge, the 3 sons went on to have their own offspring. But most important of all to our story is the offspring of Ham. He would have 4 sons: Canaan, who is the ancestor of the ancient Canaanites, later known as the Phoenicians and masters of the sea. His second son, Mizraim, fathered the Egyptians. Cush is the ancestor of the Cushites, otherwise known as the ancient kingdom of Nubia, which ruled Upper Egypt. And finally, Phut is the ancestor of the Libyans. During the Middle Ages, it was assumed by all Jews and Christians that Ham was the one common ancestor for all Africans and Semitic-speaking peoples. Some researchers have even gone on to suggest that Ham, in the Hebrew language, means dark or black, and would then further imply that the people descended from him were, in fact, African. Biblical history in Africa. All throughout the Bible, Ham's name is continuously associated with the people of Africa. This enormous continent plays such a significant role in the biblical legends, often more so than it's given credit for. One link often discredited or simply overshadowed is that part of the Garden of Eden lies within the borders of the African continent. It's said in Genesis that one of the major rivers of Eden ran around the entire land of Cush. In general, Cush was a name used for the entirety of the African continent, but more specifically, it referred to ancient Nubia, a territory that stretched from modern Aswan in the north to Khartoum in the south. Another of Eden's rivers ran around the land of Havilah, and here people sourced onyx, gold, and bdellium. All of these products are known to have been found in deep antiquity in and around modern Sudan, once a part of Cush. Hidden Africans of the early Bible. As history went on, various Africans may have forgotten the link they had to the Hamite lineage. During the Roman Empire, both the biblical religion and its traditions were corrupted by those such as Theodosius, who wanted to use the religion as a means to control the empire. This even led to the assumption that many of the prophets were light-skinned. However, evidence suggests that even a bulk of the ancient Hebraic people or the followers of Moses were a mixed ethnic group, and a vast portion of them were black Africans. It's no secret that a portion of the Israelites that lived in Egypt during the Exodus times were undoubtedly African. According to the Book of Kings, when the Israelites settled in Canaan, many Africans were among them. On top of this, an Ethiopian colony was formed in Gerar and worked as a buffer state between Egypt and Judah. One further legend to suggest a prevalent link exists between the Africans and Israelites legend we gave that sheds insight on this is the Ethiopian speakers of the Ge'ez language, who have one of the oldest known Bibles on earth. We have told you about it in a detailed video, which you can find in the description of this video. Ge'ez is a now dead Semitic language once spoken in the nations of Ethiopia and Eritrea. Researchers who have investigated this ancient Bible acknowledge that it was written at least 1,000 years before the King James Version. It contains 88 books compared to the latter 66 and includes the renowned Book of Enoch, all 3 books of Maccabee, and the books of Esdras and Baruch. While theories about its origin have ranged from Syrian missionaries to interactions with Hebrews, one idea suggests that these people were part of the original Israelite settlement in Egypt before the Exodus. According to a prominent journalist and researcher, Graham Hancock, a sect of Ethiopian Jews speak of a legend deeply embedded into their culture that claims they are the guardians of the Ark of the Covenant, and it sits in a small chapel in Axum. Not only this, but these Africans claim they are one of the oldest Jewish sects in the world and once lived in the land of Egypt before retreating south back to Ethiopia and taking with them the famed Ark. If this were true, it would begin to rewrite everything we thought we knew about the biblical history of the time. Yet, to this day, no serious theologian is willing to properly investigate the claim even though a mountain of evidence points towards the fact that the Ethiopian Jews could be the guardians of the biblical Ark. But this isn't the only mysterious claim that suggests Africa is the origin of biblical beliefs. Another theory that's yet to be thoroughly examined is just what role the Hamites had in the development of the religions of surrounding regions. Could Africans have brought for Indian religions? In recent years, various scholars have put forth theories suggesting that one of Ham's sons, Cush, is a symbolic representation of the spread of an ancient religion into Asia and influenced what would later become Hinduism. According to the Bible, Cush had various children, including Nimrod, who would later become associated with the Babylonians of Mesopotamia. But he also had children called Rama and Shiva. It just so happens that 2 of the best-known deities in the Hindu pantheon are, of course, Rama and Shiva. Could this hint at the fact that the lineages of Ham had spread their early religious beliefs as far away as India? If this is not enough for you to consider a link exists, there is even more evidence, and it's centered on the life and legends of one of the Bible's most prominent patriarchs, Abraham. According to legends, Abraham, originally called Abram, is a descendant of Noah, separated by around 10 generations. He grew up in the city of Ur in Babylonia and eventually married a woman called Sarah. The Hebrew and Arabic patriarch is often seen as one of the most influential prophets in all of the Bible and ushered in a new age for the biblical era. But if we compare to name Abraham or Abram to another well-known Hindu deity Brahma, you may see a connection. Furthermore, when we consider that Brahma's wife was known as Saraswati, which is eerily similar to Sarah, the wife of Abraham, it becomes increasingly apparent that what we're looking at is one story spread across 2 continents. Does this bring us to the conclusion that the African people played a huge role in spreading not only the biblical religion, but also all belief systems that arose in Semitic-speaking parts of Africa and Asia? It's difficult to deny the close similarities between certain aspects of Hindu and Abrahamic religions. Would you like to see more similar videos dedicated to unusual and enigmatic aspects of ancient history? If the answer is yes, then please press the subscribe button. As always, we thank you for being with us. Until next time.